like a limousine. You're spending like a cash machine. Smile, show your golden teeth. That's how you cover up your cavities. You're glowing like a diamond ring.
All right. You good?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to High Biz Health. I'm your host, Dustin Udowich. Got a treat for you today. Real celebrity on the books for our podcast. This is going to be awesome. Without further ado, I'm going to let Zach introduce himself and give a little bit about his background.
Thank you. I appreciate that. My name is Zach DiPaolo. I've rode freestyle motocross for a living for 9 years, going on my 10th year now. And I also am an athlete on American Ninja Warrior.
Yeah.
Television competition on NBC. So, definitely extreme sports, individual sports, action sports, all just, a huge part of my life. And wellness as well.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely. All right. Well, listen, as I explained to you before we went on air, we like to screw with our guest a little bit on the front end of production.
Sure.
So, inside the head of a Ninja Warrior, 10 questions to show how these competitors are just a little bit different. Zach, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Say your last name for us again.
DiPaolo.
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 Yeah, sounds like you should be really good at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and fighting in the UFC. But we'll settle for American Ninja Warrior for now. Okay, if you had to pick a nickname for your eHarmony profile, would you pick A, Hulu and Chill, or B, 1000 Night Stand?
Probably the 1000 Night Stand, but
you're a gentleman.
But my eHarmony is generally going to be the Italian Stallion would be my extension.
Okay,
So
fair.
to clear that up.
That was a gentleman's answer, by the way. Moving on to number 2, it gets progressively more important as
Sure.
you might tell from number 2. Zac Efron or the nerd who plays Spider-Man?
Oh man, like the original nerd that plays Spider-Man.
I don't know.
Tobey Maguire.
I don't know. Oh, that guy. He's even a bigger nerd
the
than the
first
guy I
one.
was thinking about.
Oh man.
They're all the same dude, right? They're all 135 pounds, but you can climb shit, and you like the climbing shit.
I do. I think I'm gonna have to hold it down for the Zacks and go with Zac Efron there.
I would have gone Efron too.
Yeah.
I got a little warrior in my blood.
Yeah.
I got a little Ninja Warrior in my blood. Minus I suck at hanging on a bar, but no big deal.
Amen.
Okay. Under any circumstance, would you consider peeing in the pool on American Ninja Warrior? There's got to be a scenario, right?
Yeah.
Hey, okay.
It's cold. The water there is very cold.
Good answer.
Yeah. When we first got there, we stuck a finger in there, and so you, upon impact, it might just squeeze a little pee out of you. So
Good answer.
Selectively, probably not. Accidentally, possibly.
Did that mess with your psyche a little bit to know the temperature of the water? Don't you just want to pretend the water's not there because
completely ignore it.
Forget it
doesn't
there.
exist.
Yeah.
Not an option.
Or just pretend it's like the bottom of a Mortal Kombat level when they finish him and you get knocked to the. Just pretend it's terrible
just
down
respawn
there.
it.
You can't go.
Yeah. Like not an option, right? You're
Not
gonna
an
die
option.
for sure. Yeah,
That's right.
Right. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
All right. Hey, quickly to number 4. Name 2 life lessons you've learned from Berenstain Bear books. And if you can't think of any, where did you learn to clean your room? Where did you learn to clean your room?
Oh man.
You're obviously a disciplined guy with your background.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's funny because I feel like I've gone through different phases of discipline in my life, kind of depending on what was going on, my age, environmental factors and stuff like that. But
I feel like this is one comment leading to 2 more comments where you just go ahead and tell our audience your room looks like a pile of shit. Okay, number 5. Wear the hood at. All right, moving on.
Where the hood at.
Okay.
I don't know. I'd ask DMX, man, but
I'm not
he's out
the
of here
only
now,
one
yeah.
sad that DMX is going.
I am bummed, man. He's the ultimate hype man. That was my intro.
Dude.
We'd do like little boxing matches in my garage.
Rough
growing up,
Riders
and
anthem.
That was my intro coming in. Yeah.
Oh, man, too good. Your street credit just
blast
went
it.
up here on air. That's big. Okay, number 6. Well, shit. You kind of ruined number 6. You look like you like early 2000s house music. True statement?
Yes.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay.
I love house music.
And DMX, you're a Renaissance man.
I dabble in all things music. I would say it's my original passion.
Number 7, if you were arrested in an episode of Live PD, what would it be for?
Oh, like that. So I'm gonna have to go with drunken activity would
Okay.
be the category of
Fair enough.
arrested. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not like a violent guy when I'm drunk, but I'm ballsy.
We're
And I want to impress people when I'm
Yeah.
drunk. Yeah. It turns into a show-off show.
We're all O'Douls at GSI. We do all non-alcoholic beer. All right, it's
cool.
better for inflammation. So we don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, number 8. Do you blame Lance Armstrong for what he did?
Oh shit. I guess so. So the story behind that is he was basically caught doping, which is, from my understanding, like it's kind of increasing the amount of blood in your body or something.
This is interesting because actually this is actually a good question. Some of
Yeah.
these other questions suck, but it's like you have to look at this from several angles. One is the dude won like 7 titles or something,
Right.
So you have to weigh that in. Hey, would I cheat? And just you can't ever actually fully take that from me. I lived it.
Yeah.
2, how much money did that dude raise for cancer? Like, with cheating or not, he raised more money than anybody else. I don't know if that's still to date, but it certainly
Wow.
was of his time. Anybody ever. And here's the third thing. I'm just totally defending Lance.
Sure,
It's like
sure.
he's like a third uncle or something. Is the way it's coming out. But God, everybody on the tour seems like they were doping at that time. So it's almost like keep up with the
He just
Joneses.
got caught, right? And of course, there's going to be a witch hunt for him more than anyone else. You know what
That's
I mean?
right.
Easy to hate the greatest, whatever you want to say. But yeah, man, with that's kind of a tough one because I guess I kind of see it through different lenses. If I was a competitor competing bar to bar with him in that time frame and I wasn't doping,
Pissed
I'd be
off.
fucking pissed. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But if I was Lance and I'm just like doing this shit, nobody knows, I'm winning, I'm fucking world famous, I'm raising money for cancer, I don't think I'd give a shit what anybody thought of me
Cheated.
anyways.
I told you, he took a bunch of performance-enhancing drugs before he got on that show.
no,
But now he's famous, no take back. I love it. It was a setup.
Yeah, no. So that's rough, man. That's a really
Yeah,
tough
it is.
question.
It
It's like
is.
I don't think any less of him personally, but like if I was a competitor and if I was like in that realm, I could see being super pissed. But in
watch-
my realms, freestyle motocross, nobody gives a shit if you did
Right.
meth before like whatever the fuck, nobody cares. Like it's entertainment purpose.
That guy just won with 3 teeth.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Right. So,
All right. I think number 9 is going to be much easier for you.
okay.
What's easier? A, Amazon returns at Kohl's, or B, monkeying 30 feet across monkey bars?
Oh shit.
I mean, Amazon returned, but I've seen you on the bars.
Yeah.
Like 30 feet of monkey bars?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with that Amazon return there. But,
Okay, yeah.
But no. So in all seriousness, with anything ninja related, I am 100% guilty of being like a couch warrior. I saw this stuff as a fan of the show for years, and would say to whoever's sitting next to me, "Oh, I could do that." You know what I mean? Oh,
Sure.
I could do that. You know what I mean?
Armchair
And-
athlete, I like
Yeah,
to call it,
but it's like the thought of it and watching someone who's put hours and hours and days and thought and stress and energy and time, watching them do an obstacle isn't comparative to yourself doing it. You're not weighing all that. And so they make
Understood.
it look easy. They make it look effortless. It's like, but when you go to physically do it, you can be in good shape. You can think you have great grip strength.
No
you can
doubt.
think that you're a mental warrior, and all those things can be true. It's not the same as physically doing it yourself.
I get it.
It's so much harder.
I get it. What did you notice about the attributes these guys were carrying as athletes? If a good basketball player has that quick first 2 steps, or he can jump out the gym,
Right.
What is it about a great rider? What attributes do you see show up in great riders?
So it really is like with freestyle motocross specifically, I would say it's like 85% just mental. It really is. It really is. Because I know guys that are super out of shape, that eat terrible, that drink and smoke cigarettes and smoke weed every day, and they absolutely kill it. And I know guys that are in pretty good shape, take really good care of themselves, and are on active training regimens and diet
Very
plans
interesting.
that don't ride as well. But to be fair, now that I've grown up, I've met other riders, I've met honestly some of my idols some guys I grew up watching. And yeah, like the best freestyle
elite
motocross
guys.
riders out there now, obviously take
Taking
great care of themselves. They work out, they have cardio, weight regiments, stretching, and they all have horrible injuries. So
I would imagine core strength and mobility have to be huge.
huge for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And it definitely helps. But like I said, so American Ninja Warrior was really cool for me because there's not an option of whether you want to be the in shape type or not. If you're not in shape, you're no contest. Like you're gonna
These baby wrists
it's
are
not
not
gonna
flying.
happen. Right.
Yeah,
So-
I'm swimming early.
exactly. So
I'd probably just show up in a life vest.
just to
Like,
be prepared,
this
right?
is happening.
Right?
Yeah.
Dive right in. But so yeah, like that's what was really cool for me and kind of helped me elevate because my 2011 I hit my first ramp. At the very end of 2011 I got like my first show. And then 2012 until COVID, I just rode shows nonstop. And the only time I stopped was if I was injured. So that's been my full-time job. And like I said, the first few years of that, the guys that were like entry to mid-level pros that I was on tour with, a lot of them are just party animals. And they got, we get paid decent for it pretty well. So
Sure.
we'd have a hotel in whatever, some city, you know what I mean? And Rochester, New York, Monster Jam or whatever, you know what I mean? So we'll ride the event and then they just go out and party that weekend, come back to the hotel, like rinse, repeat, or go home or whatever. They're just like dirt bike gypsies. Like they just do whatever. Like it's just about partying and riding the shows. And those guys, some of them are just awesome riders. They've been riding their whole lives. And I don't even think they even really realize, they're not really like aware of how just like gifted they are riding.
Understood.
And like for me, I feel like I've always had been someone who has had to kind of had like work for it a little more. And like once I figure tricks out, I can do them and I can do them well. But some of these guys, man, it's almost like they're just like missing something in their brain where they just don't care. Like they'll have a new trick that they don't necessarily know and they just fucking send it and they'll barely land it. And I'm like, dude, you almost fucking died. They're like, oh,
have you seen Free Solo?
No.
The dude that climbs up this.
Oh, yes.
You're
absolutely insane.
You're missing something.
No,
I've
I've seen that.
You do not think like other people. If
Right.
you're willing to go up. I mean, the trees in the video when he's getting up high are literally like specks.
Yeah.
And Homeboy does not have a harness.
He had no harness, no nothing. And
Nothing.
and the thing he's climbing isn't even necessarily set up perfect for climbing, right? It's just like shit. It's like rocks and
like the
fucking
steepest
whatever.
thing ever.
Yeah.
Oh, let's go ahead and work our way to number 10. Round out this list.
Okay, cool.
Biggest disappointment of 2020. A, COVID-19, or B, you didn't hit your growth spurt.
Good one. Good one.
All right.
Yeah, COVID for sure. I've been at peace with that for a decade.
You're not even that short, let's be honest. I'm like, how do you punch a guy in the nuts, right? You got to look for something, punch a guy in the nuts when you come on air. Hey, listen,
sure.
I thought a really cool way to jump into what's going to be discussions we have down the road in this podcast
Sure.
would be to check out your NBC clip.
Sure.
So let's switch on over and we can pause here as we work into it, but
It
let's
tests
yeah,
every
let's get it
part
going.
of physical and
Cool.
mental strength. American Ninja Warrior and one local athlete will showcase his skills on the program. His journey, however,
Time
includes
out. It's not that I don't trust a guy that still wears an undershirt under a polo. It's not that I don't trust him. But shit, man, you're looking local, all right? You're looking 804-ish right now, buddy.
Oh man,
All right?
man, I love Mark. Man, Mark Davis, super,
Yeah.
super nice guy. I thought he did like my story justice pretty well. But
Oh, unbelievable. I'm giving Mark shit. He does a great job. All right, let's
of
keep rolling.
injuries, adversity, and recovery.
Hard work, bright lights, and pressure. Nothing new for Richmond's Zach DiPaolo. All things he'll need to handle when competing on American Ninja Warrior.
I went from being a fan of the show to kind of just having a crazy idea one day. I saw something online about submitting.
And while he'll rely on his 2 arms and 2 legs,
Okay, break that down for us.
Sure.
The point for, when you went from, man, that's something that I would do
Right.
and I'm going to pursue it. How did this all happen? How did you actually get through some red tape with this? And,
Sure.
Yeah, how did you gain some ground there?
so, I literally was scrolling through Facebook, and I saw like a kid that I went to high school with post that he had submitted to be on American Ninja Warrior, And
Okay.
I was like, man, that's how they do it. Like, it's a video submission. I didn't really know that before that.
That kid was in band. I can do that.
I'm like, shit. I'm like, this dude, like, you know, super nice guy. And he is like an athlete, but I'm like, fuck, man, if that guy's doing it, why not try, you know?
Right.
And I had never been at an American Ninja Warrior course in my life at that point. Okay. And I really had been like working out, but like weights and cardio, like not calisthenics.
You make it sound like they're next to Starbucks. Who the hell has been to a course?
Okay. All right. Fair enough. So yeah, exactly. So I literally went, and so this was actually at the end of 2019. And so we didn't go into like the exact specifics with this because it's just messy, but I'll give you the exact timeline of what happened. So 2019, I see a friend post on Facebook that he submitted. Okay. So I'm like, shit, why not?
Yeah,
like,
sure.
I was in a great mood that day. I think I'd ran 5 miles that morning. So I was just on that cardio high of like opportunity.
Recreational drugs.
Yes,
like, I can
yes,
do
yeah.
anything.
I had my crack that morning though. So yeah, I like went on a run that day. I was feeling great. Saw this post, and I looked up like Ninja Warrior training place near me because I'm like, you know, like when I saw that it was video submission, I'm like, well, I should probably include some footage of me, you know, doing something that shows I can maybe be on the show. And I knew that I had, you know, a decade of FMX footage. So I'm like, that shit they'll probably like.
Awesome jump start.
And I'm like, has any dirt bike rider or action sports person been on American Ninja Warrior? I'm like, not that I can think of, not that I can remember.
So you'd watched a good amount.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I would say the first like 5 or 6 seasons of the show, I would like go out of my way to watch it. In the last few years, I was just busy. I was in Europe. I wasn't even thinking about American TV or politics for like years. 'Cause I was in Europe. I didn't care. You know what I mean? I was having fun. So at that time, I knew I had the riding footage. I knew that like I could use some resources to get like my friend Sarah. She's marketing director for NN Burger, one of my title sponsors. She is a great photographer. She's on like wedding videography and stuff like that. So I'm like, man, I could have her film the interview portion of it. And I'm like, all I need is some stuff of me doing the obstacles. And I just thought maybe give me a good shot on the show. And so I found a place. At the time, it was in Short Pump. It was called Boomerang. Unfortunately, it closed due to COVID.
Oh, okay, but I know the name.
Yeah, that was an awesome facility.
They had a simulation, like something close to the American Ninja Warrior course in there.
Oh yeah. It was platform to platform, and underneath it was like an airbag if you fell. So,
would you pee on that?
I did pee on that. Okay. No. I didn't pee on it, but so and they had like an easy side and a harder side. And like my first day there, I literally just like went there and I had like my phone, and I think I brought like a girl I was seeing at the time, and between her and like the random dude who worked there who was awesome, who like was like getting all hype videoing me.
His ass is out of work now.
Yeah, exactly. So I literally like got there, probably ran each side 2 or 3 times, and then I went over to the guy that like worked there, and he was like, because I did the hand bicycle.
So you ran early on. You ran the difficult side.
Yeah, my first time there, I didn't really know.
You smooth through it.
Yeah, the hand bicycle was tough. That I think I got that second try. And the guy, I'm like, so I had no idea this world. And he's like, yeah, man, I've been here 6 months. I've seen like one person get through that. I was like, oh shit. Like,
wow.
Maybe I'm okay at this. And
serious confidence booster.
Yeah, big time. And a lot of stuff there just happened to be like, my strength is like more climbing stuff. Like I have pretty short legs, my upper body strength compared to my overall weight and like the weight of my lower part of my body. That's where I'm like excel a lot. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And then like mental commitment from freestyle motocross, like those 2 things I have, but like physical gymnastic, like laches, bar to bar, that was the stuff I hadn't done as much. This particular course just happened to be upper body strength mainly. You know what I mean?
Understood, yeah.
Crushed it. The dude said I did great. And my friends got footage just on a cell phone of me, you know, running these courses my first day ever. And of course I didn't tell them that on Ninja Warrior. You know, I just submitted, and I just came out hot, man. I'm like, man, if I'm going to video submit, I was reading the rules, and it was like in the beginning of your video, like you're addressing the executives at NBC. I'm like, shit. So like they're gonna be watching this. I'm like, you know, I came out hot. I'm like, what's up, NBC executives? You know, I came out like just so hype. I'm like, dude, if I'm not hyped for my own video submission, they're not going to be hyped on my video
Right.
submission. So I mean, that video submission was lit.
I mean, I don't know if that's private information at this point that NBC stole or whoever, but I want to see this at some point.
Sure. So that was actually 2019. So I did that and expected nothing.
Sure.
And not to get all deep, but I think that's when really good things happen in life, when you like put in hard work and you're optimistic, but you expect nothing. If you just do that over and over again, you're bound to get some sort of opportunity. Anyways, side note. But so I expected nothing, and I basically forgot about it for like a while. I was like, I wonder if they're ever in and then literally I was just like in a store or something, like buying some folders or something, and I got a call from like a California number. I was like, hello? And they're like, is this Zach DiPaolo? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, the first time they're like, we really like your submission video. They're like, but it said 2 to 3 minutes. Like, you sent us a 5-minute video. And I was like, yeah, I know. I just had more to say. Like, can you please get it within the thing? Because we really want you to be on the show. I'm like, shit, what? So,
absolutely.
So yeah, so I went back, I re-edited, I submitted, still over 3 minutes. It was like 3 minutes 45. I was like, this is the best I can do. You know? They're like, we love you. Like, they liked me right away. They're like,
what was the time between you submitting and them calling?
So I submitted, like, the deadline is like November 10th, and I want to say they called me like the end of January.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was a while.
You're expecting this. You're
I thought
expecting you're lost in a pile.
Yeah, I'm
somewhere.
like, whatever. You know, I think they get 40, 50,000 or something submissions. So and there's like, 60 to 80 contestants on each stop, and there's like whatever 5 or 6 stops, so it's 400 or 500 people.
Oh, I wonder how many videos they get.
I know
they probably get like 17-minute long videos of dudes without pants.
They're probably get all kinds of random stuff, right?
Stuff, yeah.
So mine wasn't that bad, exactly. But so then I was all psyched. I was going to be on the first ever Washington DC one, 2020 April 13th or something like that, and then of course COVID hit the fan.
What's that?
This fucking I'm not getting into that. No politics.
Take your word for it.
So so I was like, bummed, and so then they like consolidated it to just one event in St. Louis for 2020, but then there was, so then they put me on that. Like, we really want you to be on it, like, even though it's your first year. So then COVID restrictions changed in that state like days before my flight. So then it was like, okay, well, the veterans of the sport are obviously going to be on it again. Everybody wants to see them that watches the show.
Sure.
And then like their friends that were new people that were like on a team with them, because they did like a relay in 2020. It was teams of 4. It wasn't really individual.
And catch me up on
So that's
this.
why I wasn't on it in 2020. Is 'cause I didn't know anybody there.
The show's entertaining as hell.
Yeah.
I'm not a big TV guy, so I haven't like glued to it and watched it season over season to really, follow a narrative.
Right.
I kind of thought if your ass hit the water, then it was next man up, never see that guy again. But there becomes like guys carry over season to season. You get to know these guys.
Right.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So
That's really cool.
I mean, it's definitely circumstantial and it's different for everybody. And maybe I like shouldn't say this, but like, a huge part of it is just like, man, if you're boring or not. It's like
Understood.
There's so many
Hell yeah.
gymnasts that are incredible that could just run through the course with blindfolded, but they're boring. They don't have a personality. They don't have a background story. And when they get in front of the camera, they don't talk. You know what I mean? So it's a TV show. You know what I mean?
Too bad bodybuilders can't compete in this event because they're so interesting.
And it's like, I don't know, man. Like for me, it was just so separate side quest in the video game of life that I was like, I don't really care what anybody thinks of me. I don't care what these executives think. I'll look stupid. I'll be wild. Like I'm getting on this damn show. You know what I mean? So when I made my submission video, I'm like, I'm just like throwing random shit out there. You know what I mean? Like just tons of energy though, and pumped, and like definitely like I meant what I said though. I'm like, yeah, like I'm gonna come on the show.
The message was valid.
But I think I sprinkled a good enough of like personality and kind of like some unique little things here and there. But yeah, so in 2020 they did the groups of 4. So you kind of either had to be a veteran or kind of like already set up to be on a team with them. So then I had to just wait. And so they basically said, you just have to video submit again at the end of 2020 to be on in 2021. And I was like, well, you guys put me on. You said you liked me a lot. Then you moved to St. Louis and that changed. So like, I'm definitely going to be on the show next year, right? And they're like, all we can say is video submit.
Because they were playing the field.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess.
That's
right.
my guess.
Probably. Yeah. So it really seemed like they were hyped to get me on it. Then it didn't happen. It was a super bummer. And like, I had already publicly announced that I was going to be on the show. I didn't know COVID, but it was unprecedented.
Sure.
So I didn't know, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I felt wildly depressed for a few days because I'm like, dude, every single person that's ever known me my entire life and their friends and their grandma was like waiting and pumped and supporting me, supporting to see me on, American Ninja Warrior.
Sure.
And now I'm just like, hey guys, by the way, it's not happening. You know what I mean? So I never really posted about that. I was just optimistic that I would get on the next year.
Yep.
So I had a lot of people messaging me like, when are you going to be on? Like, hey, there's this one St. Louis episode. I don't see you on it. I thought, I'm like, so I figured if I submitted next year and I didn't get on, then I'd tell the story of it. But I'm like, you know what? I'm going to stay optimistic. Like, But so like last summer, Boomerang shut down. So I had no place in Virginia. That was the only one in Virginia. That was like a legit. There's Nova Ninja up in Northern Virginia, but yeah, so like nothing within a couple hour drive of me. So like last year, I didn't ninja train specifically a ton, but I worked out 5-6 days a week. So I'm like, I'm going to stay in crazy good shape. I'm going to ride my dirt bike and like not worry about getting. I thought about not riding that whole year to not get injured before it. And I'm like, you know what? No, like if it's meant to happen, I'm not going to count on me messing up and then messing it up. I'm not going to, not go ride my bike because I'm worried about maybe getting hurt. What if thinking can be very bad. So I went up to Scott Murray's place in Michigan, second guy to ever do a double backflip on a dirt bike. Major legend, rode 100,000 people shows in France. Like, dude's a legend. Yeah. So he helped me get my 75-foot backflips dialed in on my 450 and stuff. So it was like a really fun summer in that sense. And then after that, like when it got into the fall, I'm like, okay, I got a video submit again. So like I kind of didn't train a ton in 2020 until like the end of summer and the fall. And then I was all in with it.
Okay. Let's turn our attention back to this video.
I saw something online about submitting.
And while he'll rely on his 2 arms and 2 legs to get him through, his identity on the big stage salutes his life on 2 wheels. In the competition circle, he's known as Dirt Bike Ninja.
Motocross especially. When I got to motocross, something about being on the 2 wheels and just the freedom of it, the engine, the athleticism and everything.
Zach's motocross career has taken him all over the globe. It's helped him get used to overcoming obstacles. And we're not talking about the kind he'll see on his new endeavor. Just listen to some of his injuries.
I broke both my arms in half, displaced, collarbone in 3 places, ribs, and my C7 in my neck. I crashed, pretty much ripped my thumb off my body. In Miami, I had a crash and broke my femur in half, broke my pelvis in 3 places, my sacrum, lower back, and my hips.
Okay, pelvis or sacrum? Which one was your girlfriend more pissed off about? I think that's very telling of a relationship. Don't answer that. We're going to continue on.
To living life at full speed, doctors said he might never walk normally again. But like he attacked a ramp or a jump, this dirt bike dominator zeroed in on rehab and recovery.
I would say maybe 8 months of rehab, I was able to walk again and started running, and now, today I'm in the best shape in my life.
And Zach looks to put that on display on national television. He's been working every part of his body, from his arms and legs to fingers and toes, dieting, soaking his hands, anything he can think of to give himself an advantage.
I've been doing everything I could to prepare myself, so I'm at a point where I've prepared as much as I can. I expect nothing, so it's all upside.
So, is Dirt Bike Ninja ready to conquer American Ninja Warrior?
It's kind of hard to, convey and articulate exactly how I feel, so I'll just show you. Ready to shoot my shot.
Have you gotten a call from Tosh yet for web redemption?
No, but I'd be open to it. That'd be awesome.
Okay, we got a few things to talk about here. Number one, you look like a complete badass in this clip. Well done.
Thank you.
Well done. You did the look like a complete badass without trying too hard. It's really awesome.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
Let's talk. I think to the GSI community and certainly beyond, anybody in the health and wellness community, recovery is such a massive deal.
Yeah.
And it maybe doesn't get definitely doesn't get as much credit as it deserves. Especially a dude mentality of like, I just need to work out harder, lift more weight. No, you know what you need to do? You need to sleep better and stretch more and do foam rolling and stuff. What were some of the recovery strategies you did that got you back from injury or B, just let you sustain this kind of intense ass training schedule, that you've had?
Yeah, like injuries, like that's like a saga. Like I could talk so long about it. So I'll try to just kind of condense and try to figure out like what my thesis point on the whole thing is, which yeah, like when I was younger, I was definitely like, my grandfather, growing up, like I told you, he was a boxer and he was just very like tough guy stuff. But, he never broke his femur. You know what I mean? This was like for normal person injuries. You know what I mean? So I think with the level of injuries that I've had, it's you don't really have like a choice. Like if you want to keep your range of motion and you want to be able to live with relatively low pain and like still do things, like you kind of just have to. And I definitely didn't grow up rich, and basically when I would break bones when I was growing up, my first bone I ever broke, I was 12 years old. Okay, I was at the motocross track. I came back. My mom was freaked out because it looked like someone cut a baseball in half and slid it under my hand. It was that swollen. We kind of knew something was broken, and I was like, oh, it's fine. I'm out there riding my BMX bike after motocross, like having fun. And so then they made me go. But, like afterwards, it was kind of like once we did the cast and it got off and it was like, hey, should we pay extra for the rehab? It was like, we'll figure it out. Or like go to one meeting and soak it up real quick. You know what I mean? So for all the injuries I've had, like 27 orthopedic fractures, 6 orthopedic surgeries, I think 3 documented concussions, severed fingertip. I mean, just like all kinds of crazy stuff. I got, plate in this collarbone, rod in the femur, pins in the arm. Anyways, so it definitely is. It's just like an input output machine. You know what I mean? It's like a lot of things.
I don't.
Just like you can't expect it to get better if you're not like actively doing things to help. And
ton of mobility.
Yeah, and different things work better for different people. And like there's definitely just like genetic disposition. Like some people just heal better than others. So like there's that. But for sure, to get to the point where like I was like super weak. Like let's say after my femur break, I couldn't really do much. I could hardly walk, you know what I mean? And I kind of just like didn't really do a lot of rehab for the first year, and I was still riding shows as soon as I could. And I was weak, man. I didn't feel good. And one day I just like, I think I was like hanging out with some chick that was like into yoga and shit. She was giving me, shit for not stretching. And just for like 2 or 3 days, I like stretched in the morning and was like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah.
Like, and then my friend Gaston, his girl, Hanan is like, she does that for a living, like rehab and stuff. And she gave me some bands and had me doing like lateral leg raises. I have no idea if that's the right term, but that's what I call them.
It counts, totally.
Yeah.
Counts.
And
Penguin
so
walks,
all of a sudden my like hip, whatever, rotator, what's it called in your hip joint?
That lower hip complex is indeed complex.
Right.
There's a bunch of stuff going on there.
So all of a sudden, like everything started feeling better, and I started to be able to like squat more weight again, and it just stopped hurting. And like when I would first go on a run for 2 or 3 miles, I would my ability to mentally push myself through stuff is good and bad. You know what I mean? And so for a long time after that femur injury, I was like, well, I'm going to be in good shape. Like I want to look good for girls, so I'm going to run. You know what I mean? I'm going to eat right, not because I really want to, because I want to look good. You know what I mean? But
chicks are liking that Arby's 5 for $5.55 look. I mean,
but
dad bod.
But like I was almost like doing it for the wrong reasons, and then I was kind of like, damn, like my leg hurts after runs and stuff like that. But I wasn't really doing anything to help it. But yeah, like I guess it's all depends on the specific injury. But I would just say in general, man, like if you have hurt yourself and it's bugging you, fucking do everything you can.
Yes.
Like look shit up, ice it, and if you do something,
me up,
yeah,
GSIers.
But yeah, like just I mean, even like so my MCL sprain I had last year, I probably bounced back from that because tendon stuff can be worse than a hairline fracture. You know what I mean? And I just literally riced it, man. Just riced, ice, compression, elevation.
Yes.
And rested. Actually, didn't go out and party. Stopped drinking alcohol, man. Alcohol is so bad. If you stop drinking, yeah, it's so bad.
Very inflammatory.
So, that was eye opening. And let me tell you, so probably the one thing over anything, like stretching and like pushing yourself range of motion wise, that's kind of like a duh thing. Like if you're not doing that and you're complaining about an injury, like. Right. Shut up, basically.
Well, I think
if it hurts.
Yeah, I think with our community, what a lot of people experience is they're doing hard work during the day, right? And so the last thing that they want to do in the evening is be on their feet for an extra 45
Right.
minutes doing, some kind of dynamic stretching
Right.
routine. So I try to figure ways that we can do things from your couch, right? You can do a good little 5-7 minute stretch from your couch. We can use the massage gun. We can do some forms of myofascial release,
Right.
foam rolling, lacrosse ball, golf ball, whatever.
Right, tie it into something that you do enjoy. So
That's
that
right.
it's all about how you think about
Great
it.
advice.
Because when I used to take time to do the bands and stretch my wrists and stuff, and I would kind of just focus on it's cracking, it hurts, like that would suck. But now I do it so much that I don't even think about it. Like I'll be watching TV and I'm doing my rehab exercises with my wrists or doing the bands. I'm like, oh shit, like two birds with one stone. I mean, you know what I mean? And
you get to know your problem areas.
Yeah.
It's not like you need to go head to toe every night for 90 minutes. What you just said during a show, half
Right.
of a sitcom.
Right.
I mean, I'm not saying you should stop at 15 minutes, but what I am saying is you could have a really constructive rehab routine in 12 to 15 minutes a day if
For
you
sure.
knew your problem spots.
100%. And I think that shit, man, just activation in general is so much
Yep.
of the battle. Like if you're doing anything to try to increase mobility every day, it's going to snowball. You're going to build momentum. And you're going to start to realize all of a sudden it's
And
better.
what Zach is saying here with activation is
Yeah.
we have certain parts of our body, certain muscle groups are not firing off.
Right.
Right? It's almost like they become dormant.
Right.
And so you have to train those muscles to fire off. And, the people that are really knowledgeable in that sector of wellness, they'll just when they're going through and doing diagnostics and a functional movement assessment, they'll make
Right.
you feel stupid. You're like, they're telling you to
for
do
sure.
something and literally the muscle's not reacting
Right.
in the way that, they're trying to get it to react. It's crazy.
And just like every time I think I've kind of figured stuff out, man, I'll meet. I actually did a stretching session with Daniel Gill. He's the grand champion from 2020 from American Ninja Warrior.
Oh,
I didn't
cool.
even plan on meeting him or anything. I was literally in the hotel in Seattle, and I went down to the gym, a nice hotel, and it was him and two other super famous guys from the show, and I knew him for sure, and I was like, hey, what's up, man? And we started talking or whatever, and I was watching them stretch, and it was just stretch things I've just never seen before.
It was
and I'm like,
unorthodox.
damn, I really thought that I knew stretching, and these guys had this whole system of laying over different parts of their quad and holding it, doing it fast, doing it slow, doing it backwards, and I did that routine with them once, and my legs felt different. It was just
Crazy.
what do you know? You do something different things happen. You know what I mean? I'm like, shit. I was really being kind of lazy even with my stretching, and it's
And didn't know
definitely
it.
it's never over. It's never fun to stretch an area that hurts or something like that, but you just got to kind of force yourself to do it every day, and eventually you find some weird pleasure in I try to think of life as a video game. I'm my first character. And people that are lazy in life, they'll go spend hours on their character in their video game. Spend some time on your character, man. You know what I mean?
Damn right.
Improve your character. And so, but so to kind of go back to a point I was making before. So, the one thing I will definitely say, when I was 19, 20, 21, 22, I had some real bad injuries, just really badly broken arms, or in 2014, I broke neck, both arms, ribs, collarbone. And whether I was or wasn't going to be on pain medicine, it was kind of I didn't really have a choice. I mean, I was laying on a table, screaming, and I was having muscle spasms because my collarbone was pushed through so much muscle tissue. Yeah, it was hell, literally hell. So I didn't really have a choice whether I was going to be in a month at that point, but I let the comfort of that drag on as long as I could milk it for back then. And I was never buying them on the street or anything like that, but I definitely felt weak and sad and depressed. And so just to fast forward, 2018 was the last significant bone break I had. And so I was on tour in Europe. It was super not fair, man. I was riding this whole tour in Europe. I was killing it, rode one of the best shows of my life. And they had brought kind of a rookie Polish guy on, super nice dude. He's cool. He was just a mistake. And at the end of the show, we'd do wheelies, we'd slide and stop, wave at the crowd. And, the music's going, it's in Europe, they're playing EDM, and the guys on the microphone in Polish, just screaming in Polish. So I don't hear shit, and so the guy behind me doing a wheelie looped out on the wheelie and ghost rode the bike into me. And so I didn't see it coming.
What is it? Ghost rode the bike.
The bike's riding with no one on it. Ghost rode.
A bike hit
Ghost
you.
rode the whip. Yeah. So a motorcycle hit me. Going,
I
I
hate
don't know,
when that
20,
happens.
30. It
It's
sucks.
bullshit,
And so
yeah.
I went from just waving at the crowd, thinking about the hot Polish chick I was taking to dinner that night, to on the ground, It was bad, man. It was bad. One of the worst experiences of my life.
Bike hit you.
Because like at least when you're crashing on a jump, like it's like, all right, I fucked up, and you see it coming, and you can kind of do a little bit of damage control. And of course, those were way worse injuries because I'm 40 feet off the ground compared to being on the ground. But that one sucked because I didn't see it coming. I didn't even know what the fuck happened at first. I'm just laying there like, did a car hit me? Did I get hit by lightning? Like, what the fuck?
What is the angle we're talking about? The hit?
It was, yeah, I got T-boned. So I had slid to a stop,
man.
and I'm waving, and I'll never forget, I waved, and I reached back to take my goggles off, and that was the second he hit me. So I'm like, when I say I didn't see it coming, I mean, it was really, like, if I had even just seen it out of the corner of my eye or heard something, I could have braced. But I think I shit whipped onto the asphalt so fast that it just, I looked down, my arm was a Z. Like, it was bad, displaced, like, nasty Z looking arm. And so I went to the hospital in Poland. They wanted to put a plate in right away. I didn't let them. I saw a second orthopedic specialist who said he could do it with pins, which wouldn't be a permanent metal implant. You know what I mean? And shout out Dr. Dobosh, you're the man. And so he fixed that up for me. But in Poland, they don't do pain medicine. They just don't. I've been hurt in 2 countries where they don't have pain medicine. The other one was Japan. I had a severed finger and snapped thumb there. That was horrible. I wanted it then, but that was earlier on. But my point is, this 2018 arm break, I never took any pain medicine. And then I even came back from Poland because like my medical insurance through the FMX agency was in Poland. So I had my surgery there. I came back. And so I could have easily went to any doctor and been like, hey, look, last week this happened. I'm in pain. I've had no pain medicine. They would have wrote me a prescription. Sure. And I was like, man, I've gone a week without any. Let's just try Tylenol. Dude, I bounced back faster than I've ever bounced back from any injury in my entire life. I mean, it's almost like my body physically recovered faster. And I wasn't like in this woe is me mode. It was like I was still doing shit. I was still going out. I was like going on dates. So I was like having sex. Like it was like where before when you're on that pain medicine, you're like, ooh, you're all...
I've had sex before. It's great. Hey, so what you're getting at is that your mentality... You accredit to the speedy recovery.
Yes.
You stayed active. You didn't just
didn't fall into the woe is me.
Yep.
If you fall into that mindset, and you use anything like that to kind of dull the pain, you're buying yourself temporary pleasure at the expense of your recovery long term, which is forever, which you can't hide from. So if I in 2019. I was just at like a motocross track, crashed pretty bad and cracked a few ribs. That was actually my last injury. I don't really count that because it wasn't that bad.
It doesn't count cracking a few ribs.
And so they were worried about my lung or something like that. So I did get it checked out, and they like went to hand me Vicodin, and at the end I'm like, I'm good, man. Like, it's fucking cracked rib, no big deal. And it sucked. But again, it was like there was no transition period. Like I never had the mental part of it. Like I was never sad about it. It was just like, oh, this sucks. It'll be good soon. And you know what I mean? I bounced back. But yeah, your mental strategy towards these injuries is really such a huge part of it. And I don't even think we understand in every way that it helps yet as human beings collectively. Really. Like I think that if you think in your head, like, hey, I'm going to beat this, there's things that we don't even know are at work helping that. I really believe that.
Part of what you're getting at, part of it is a different angle of cognition that we truly don't know. And part of it speaks really to effective behavior change, right? The way we think about things, our relationship with things. I mean, go to nutrition, your relationship with food. Oh, you see a pack of Skittles. If your mouth starts watering and you think that is happiness, then you're probably going to work your way to those Skittles. But if you see a pack of Skittles and literally it represents crappier mood, lower energy, your skin's not as good.
Yeah.
If you see it in a different light, that relationship, and what I hope for our people and everybody else watching out there is when it comes to rehab, if you can just see the production that you can have with that 5 to 7 minutes a night, it increases your quality of life.
For sure.
You're not limping around all the time. And you know this way better than I do, but the small injuries left unattended end up your crappy long-term injuries.
Right. Yeah, no, absolutely. And I mean, it all takes active work. And it is cool, though. Like, I'm at the point now where I look back on it and I'm like, man, I'm like in the best shape I've ever been in, after going on American Ninja Warrior and stuff like that. And I mean, I can run farther. I can do more pull-ups. I mean, And after all of these injuries, you know what I mean? So it's just really cool to kind of look back and realize that like it's working, you know what I mean? And like you said, diet is a huge part of it. I mean, I've definitely been pretty selective about what I've eaten for a few years, but you know, my first few years of freestyle motocross, I was not a health guy at all. I was just a ride to party guy. And I think I had pretty good genetic dispositions. Like I got through with it and stuff, but at shows, it was almost like here we go. Because I was like still hungover from the last night or like whatever, you know, like didn't get good sleep, didn't work out. I never really felt that good. It was just like a full send, like all just like faith and mental. Now I don't get that worried because like I know I put in the work.
Did you know you didn't feel good at the time? Or was that just like the way you felt every day?
It was, yeah, totally unaware. That's something like looking back on it that I've kind of had the epiphany of like, man, I was just kind of like my mood and how I felt every day was just random because I didn't have a plan. I didn't have like I work out, I eat right, I do things that my body needs like rest or whatever. You know what I mean? It was just like I was just on full throttle with life. Like it was like freestyle show, yep. Go out and drink and party till 5 a.m. Yep. Show the next day, yep. It was just I was a yes man to experiences, which is not the worst way to be, but like I'm just so much more effective and I just have so much more clarity now with a plan with all this stuff. You know what I mean? And you know, the injuries suck, but looking back at a lot of the injuries, I wonder how many could have been avoided if I had been like eating good and practicing good and all this stuff. I mean, you got ones like a guy running into me and I've had the wind blow literally and make me crash. So, I mean, there's stuff that's literally completely out of your hands, but there's also been some where I think like I was a little too cocky. Like I showed up on a bike I'd never rode, on a setup I'd never rode. And I'm like, I'm good. I relied too much on the mental faith. It's like both. You have to have the faith and the mental side, but if you're doing the work to make your body strong, you know what I mean? What do they say? Sweat more in training and you bleed less in war or something like that. That's the thing too, man. Like it. I've seen FMX guys that are just ripped and they crash and like they're good. Not every time. There's just random stuff, but you know what I mean? Like when you're putting work into your body, it's more resilient. I mean, you know what I mean? For sure.
All right, so let's circle back here. I got a couple questions about the nutrition.
Cool.
And something we alluded to earlier is so important. It's so important, and that is the inflammation piece.
Okay.
Virtually every chronic condition starts from inflammation, right? We do something bad for the body, it inflames the body. We do that enough times, we go down a rabbit hole we don't want to go down.
Right.
Drinking alcohol, eating junk food, trans fats, right? You know, not getting shitty sleep. Smoking. What is it that you changed about your diet that you really noticed? You know, when you wanted to kind of take your performance to a higher level, what were the changes you made that truly moved the meter on how you felt?
Sure. So like rather than kind of give you like specifics, I think the thing that would help most people and the way that I had an epiphany one day, like, wow, holy shit, was before in life, before American Ninja Warrior and my earlier side of freestyle motocross, it was environmental, it was knee-jerk reaction, it was surface level shit of why or when or how much I ate. Okay. Post awareness of like, wow, like I may as well do some of this shit to help myself. It's only going to help me. And then, you know, having to be in good shape for American Ninja Warrior and also accumulating enough injuries where I need to be the best version of myself, you know, diet and activity wise to have the energy to work out and progress. The big difference was simply unplanned diet, planned diet. It's really that simple. Like I just started eating with a plan. Like when I did this, it was for a reason, not because there was a bag of Doritos next to me and I went, oh, you know, or not because, and you know, and it's hard sometimes because my mom, love her more than any human being on the planet. She is not a nutrition expert.
Straight pasta.
Just pasta, brownies, like amazing bake and cook, and you know, all of her food is amazing and it's all absolutely terrible for you. You know what I mean?
Sure.
You know, maybe in moderation, maybe with portion control, whatever. But you know, my childhood did not consist of any nutrition or health training whatsoever. At all.
Our people are out on the road a lot.
Yeah.
You better have a plan, right? Out on the road. It's hard.
And it is hard.
What were some of the staples to the better, you know, I don't say the better plan, the plan in general. What were some of the staples to your plan?
So when I'm on the road, it's definitely harder because I can't just go to the grocery store and get everything I want and have it at home. But honestly, like there's so many apps these days for counting, your macros and you don't have to do everything. You don't have to do this or that, but even like, so I counted macros for American Ninja Warrior.
Did you do MyFitnessPal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now I don't have to count every macro every day, but the knowledge I have of caloric content after doing that for months.
Yep.
Dude, I know I'm
incredible.
so much closer now with my ballpark guesses than I would have been before.
You can see a breakdown of micronutrients, macronutrients with each food you're putting in. It starts to stick after a while. Yeah, I get it.
Exactly. And I mean, I got a food scale and everything. I mean, I was like weighing my chicken breasts, like, who am I? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's like, it's at that point I had to cut. Obviously I have like my cutting mode, my maintenance mode, and my cheat days. Those are like my 3 categories, I guess.
How often is your cheat day? How often does that come?
For Ninja, it was like the last like 2 months, 0. Yeah, nothing. I'll never a cheat day. And like even my cheat meal would be like, like some protein ice cream, which was like part of my daily plan anyways, but it was ice cream, but it's, 400 calorie for a pint, 20 grams of protein. It was okay to fit into my plan that day. But in other words, finding cheat items or cheat meals or whatever that fit into your plan.
Cheat items and cheat meals, not cheat fucking day or cheat week.
Dude, and that's...
Cheat days turn into cheat weeks.
Oh, dude, I'm terrible with moderation with anything.
Yeah.
So I'm very like all in, all out. And I think that's why like freestyle motocross and certain things attract me. But like even with, yeah, man, exactly what you said. With cheat days, I'll go out and be like, I'm gonna get beer and wings and fries, and then the next day, man, you fucking crave it 10 times more than you did before.
100%.
And you feel it, and you feel like shit.
Both of those things are very true.
And the more in tuned you are to your fuel, and like the more planned out your shit is, the more I feel like, because I feel things, man. Like I'm a passion dude, so I feel things anyways. But like to go from eating really healthy and like not drinking for months to like getting back from Ninja and like going out and having like 6 beers and some fried food, I felt like
achy,
dude, just unbelievably cut at the kneecaps. Like no energy, didn't sleep good.
This takes us back where we're talking about just
I used to just live like that.
Yeah, just a few minutes ago. People don't realize that they can feel a hell of a lot better.
There's a whole other existence out there that you're not really even aware of. It's crazy. But it definitely takes like, it's like anything, man. Like it's going to suck for a while and you're going to not really know why you're doing it. And then one day it'll click. But the big thing for me is I do like that shit. I do like beer. I do like pizza. I do like cake. Yeah. So rather than...
Nothing tastes better than feeling good.
Yes. So feel good 24/7. Okay.
Yes.
And then I take these like guilty, things that I have that I like. Shit, I can't think of the word for that. Guilty pleasures.
Porn.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
I actually don't watch porn at all.
You were going somewhere
like
different.
year 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother
porn.
podcast.
That's a whole other podcast.
Whole nother podcast. Called I Hate Porn. Yeah.
So to take your guilty pleasures and use them as like a reward, like, hey, if I hit all my workouts this month and I go and ride the freestyle motocross show, I'm kind of scared to ride and stuff like that. And I count my macros for these weeks, then I'm going to come back and I'm going to have one dinner where I go get whatever the fuck I want and I don't even track it.
I dig it.
Do you know how much better it tastes?
Yeah.
Oh my God. You're like, I deserve this. You're not like, oh, it's not like it's like someone drinking to feel okay. Like, bro, you're not going to feel okay. Yeah. But if you drink Tom Brady drinking after the Super Bowl,
it feels
there's no negative blip on his fucking.
How'd he pick the thing up? Because there's 5 rings on one hand. He's only got 1 or 2 on another. I fucking love Brady.
But, so that's what I'm saying though, is you got to dial into that mindset, and it's like keeping tabs on yourself. Like no one's gonna do it for you, man. Like no one's gonna come in and be like,
well said.
Like you just got to do it for you. So
yeah. I hope I try with our people often to trick them into even 1 and 2 week challenges. Things like gallon a day for 14 days, and I'll give you this little gift.
My whole life is fucking tricking myself into shit.
Yeah.
Do you think I want to hit a freestyle ramp when I'm at a show? And I'm sitting there and I'm like, fuck, I can get this much money, and there's these fucking hot chicks there, and there's a fucking bar. My hotel's 2 blocks away. I'm like, I can get money and get laid tonight if I just fucking jump this jump. Like, all right, fuck it, I'll do it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like a lot of stuff in life. It's like the easy route is not fruitful.
Yeah.
Fortune favors the brave. You know what I mean?
And how true is it? You've done these extreme sports and you've done more extreme training. By the way, there's a local gym called Vintage Boxing. You might know Vintage Boxing here in Richmond. And Eric Ash is the owner, and he always puts out boxing quotes of like famous boxers. And he put out this badass Tyson quote. Tyson's got so many good quotes.
He really does.
Everybody's got a plan until you get punched in the face.
Right.
It's a great quote.
It really is.
But I saw a quote on there the other day that is now my absolute favorite Tyson quote ever. I'm gonna totally butcher it, but you'll get the idea. It goes, "People will laugh at you for starting over, and they've never even started."
Yep.
You have done these sports that are intense, and you've actually grown and evolved to somebody who prepares in an intense manner. And God, the mindset that goes into that and the feeling of reward from what you accomplish, you get it when you apply yourself. And then win or lose on the back end, you're like, damn, that was a good experience. I grew as a person. But when your ass is just concerned with beating level 4 on Call of Duty, and that's the highlight of your day,
Yep.
because you think that feels good in the moment. I've done that all the time. Blown a day.
Yeah.
You're never left with that feeling.
It's different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take yourself
You
somewhere
can't lie to
new.
yourself.
That's
you
right.
can't lie to your inner self. You can try.
some people can.
You can cover it up. And right.
hear you.
Some
I hear
people
you.
do their whole lives. But at the end of the day, there's like you said, there's no substitute for the like authentic feeling of gratitude that you're like doing the things that you know you need to do and pushing yourself. And I do think different people are wired different, man. I think there's
So
just
true.
kind of simple people out there that just want to fucking exist, man. And that's okay. That's fine. And don't really want to work on themselves. And it's hard for me because like some of them are close friends of mine or whatever. So it's like, I want to fucking lead them to the water. You know what I mean? But that you can't make them drink. But
Yeah, some people, they don't want to think about defeat, right?
Yeah.
They'll either,
they're afraid to lose. Yeah.
They'll either not compete because there's the chance of defeat, or they'll only put themselves in positions where they truly think
Guaranteed
they can
win.
roll whatever
Right.
they're doing.
Right.
I'm not afraid of losing, and I know I am a pretty average dude in general. I'm a pretty average dude.
I don't agree with that statement.
No, I am. I'm average intelligence, average athlete. But I love people. I love interaction with people, and I feel like I've grown from that. But when it comes to, especially athletic endeavors, because that's what the conversation's been around
Sure.
globally, I like to be humbled.
Yeah.
Right. And I look for that. So that's weird to some people. It's like, you're looking for an ass whooping?
Yeah.
Dude, I like to be humbled. I
Yeah.
like when a 140-pound dude balls my shit up on a jujitsu mat,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Or boxing, right?
Right.
Boxing's so unique. You're sparring with one guy and you keep tagging him and you're like, dude, I still got a chance to go pro. You switch partners 2 minutes
Right.
later and you're like, fuck
Getting
this.
whopped. Yeah.
I'm playing. I am going to beat level 4 on guy. I ain't coming back there.
No,
bro.
I feel you, man. And that's like kind of a debate that I've had with a lot of my like, and I hate to use this, but like my like normie friends, like, I have like,
You guys are so normal.
I have like my
normie fucks.
I have like my freestyle motocross friends, which are just some of the coolest human beings I've ever met in my life.
Yep.
And some of them are good because they've worked out it their whole lives and they're in perfect shape, and some of them just have a fucking screw loose and they've been riding since they were 4, so they can
get
just
it.
do it. It doesn't
Yep.
make sense. But then like the
Bike's
American
part of
Ninja
their
Warrior
body.
guys, right? But then the American Ninja Warrior guys all are in amazing shape. They're all tip top athletes. They all eat good and you know what I mean. So I just feel like I just have a pretty good like scope on the spectrum of that, and then I compare it to like kind of like my friends like in Virginia that I grew up with, who sometimes look at me and are like, shit, man, when are you going to settle down? When are you going to do this? When are you going to do that? And, you got to stop doing this dangerous shit. You got to stop breaking bones. I'm just like, dude, like for me, I really think of life as like this fucking video game. Okay. Cause to me, that's kind of what it is. Like you're in this POV, like, and it's literally like, go do whatever the fuck you want. Like, that's awesome, dude. Like play that, do that, like actually go do what you want, because we're so conditioned to just like have environmental influence lead our whole path. But it's like, do what you want to do. Okay. But also for me personally, if the things that I'm trying to achieve, I think are like within my threshold of capabilities, like easily, that's not fucking fun.
True.
My family growing up, like I had like some food distributorships, and I had an opportunity to basically buy into one of those when I was pretty young, like 18, and I would have made a good amount of money my whole life and I would have owned that. But I was like, I know I can do that. Like, I'm 100% sure I can do that. Just make money and exist and pay bills.
Flip a bike?
Exactly. And that shit scared the fuck out of me.
Yeah.
It still does. But the level of deep, like, inner happiness and satisfaction when you accomplish something that you genuinely didn't know if you can do and might be unattainable, and you're definitely going to fail 100 times leading into it before you even get the taste of the win. It's just a different level of life. It's like an elevated existence, man. And I can tell when I start to stray from like my true path, like if I just kind of get down on shit, or I'm kind of like not active for a day or two, or like some things don't go my way, I just feel lost for a bit. You know what I mean? But that the common denominator for me of feeling like really good is fucking pushing yourself, man. And it doesn't stop like from here to here. Like, maybe I'm an intense person, but like, dude, when I fucking clean my apartment, like I clean that motherfucker.
God,
like,
you do.
You know what I mean? But I'm saying if you can carry that energy and like, dude, anything is exciting.
Had you not read that fucking Berenstein Bears book as a kid, you would not be in a position to do what you do today.
Yeah.
All right, so how about this? Let's round out this podcast with this, because this is powerful.
Sure.
We know Marlboros are not great for us. We know Bangs and Monsters are not great for us. People still drink Monsters and Bangs, right?
While they're smoking a cigarette.
While they're smoking a damn right.
Yeah.
So it comes down to behavior change, not necessarily just a base layer of knowledge. For people who they need to make lifestyle change in order to feel better, live longer, spend more quality time with grandchildren, what advice would you give people for where to place themselves, what mindset to be in to actually achieve positive change, so they're doing less of those inflammatory acts, so they're feeling better day to day? You know, what would you say to those people?
For new level happiness, you have to do new things. If you want a new level...
Ah, damn, you're good.
If you want a new level of happiness, it takes new things.
I feel like you got notes like hidden in some of these tattoos. This is bullshit.
I'm
You
just
got a
saying
cheat
that
sheet.
was the first thing that popped in my head, man. Like, you're gonna have to do new things. If you're repeating, like, if you're repeating the same shit every day, and you're like, "Fuck, I always feel like this." Like, come on, man. And I think that, like, you got to play the long game, man. It's so easy to play the short game and have that instant gratification and whatever. And like, there might be some things you bend on. Like, I don't know, man. I have a friend I trained with for American Ninja Warrior. Okay. He's an amazing, like, absolutely incredible American Ninja Warrior athlete. Okay. He eats pretty good. He works out, all this stuff, but like, he like smokes weed, you know what I mean? And like, that's like his one vice or something. So like, some people have their vice, like they like smoking weed, or like they like to have a few drinks, or like they like to, I don't know, man, whatever, play video games for 6 hours sometimes.
Sure.
Like if you have like, it's not that you have to be on like alpha build improve mode 24/7.
Yes.
But it's like, if you're not chipping away at that every day,
I'm with you.
you're not chipping away at that every fucking day. Like, it's
hate-
consistency. It's and it becomes part of your biology when you're doing it all the time, you know?
I hate when people think that being healthy is an all or nothing proposition. It's
Exactly.
completely not. It's make a small change that will have a compounding effect. The long game.
Absolutely.
If I double the amount of water I'm drinking, if I'm at 40 ounces a day,
Water's so important, dude.
Oh my God.
I've literally developed like a phobia of being dehydrated. Like, I don't sleep unless there's a bottle of water next to me. I drink water fucking all day, every day, man. And it
helps
it's
literally
everything.
every organ in your body.
Literally everything. Your vision, your skin, your
everything.
energy, your sleep, your
Greatest energy
boners,
drink ever.
everything.
Boners.
Dude, cardio, like if you got sex problems, dudes, and you're not running and drinking tons of water,
Yeah, shut up.
I don't feel bad for you.
Yeah. DiPaolo.
Yeah.
This is a new water you're going to put out. It's going to be, yeah.
Yeah.
Smell
DiPaolo's Chariot.
Boner water. You know? That's awesome.
We'll sprinkle some Viags in there or something. No,
It's just you 72 feet in the air on a bike. You know?
I'm just saying, man, like,
Some trick up there and just.
oh, shit.
That's
But
great.
yeah, like you gotta, you know, like if you're not bleeding for your own happiness and improvement, you gotta bleed, man. Like it doesn't just come. That life isn't like that. It's infinite in every direction. The people that water their gardens get flowers. The people that fucking don't. And it's that way with your body.
Well said.
Put some fucking energy and effort and thought into maintaining your body.
And it feels so good to
Yeah.
have your own back. You know when you're doing those things you just talked about.
Right.
And you can come back and have that conversation with yourself like, dude, you're trying.
Right.
Even if you're not where you want to be, you could say, dude, you're trying to move this meter. And that is so powerful. It's self-motivating. It's beautiful.
Well, and there is like long-term benefits that appease your fat kid. There's long-term benefits that appease your like drug and alcohol version of yourself. Or in other words, what I mean by that is like when I was young, I would just drink and ride. Never thought about it. Never really felt hungover. I think that's just being young, and I was blessed with some decent genetics. Okay, but so then like a few years ago, like on tour in Europe and stuff, I started realizing like, man, I feel hungover. I feel like shit. Now I'm at the point where like, dude, if I hit cardio on a Thursday and I work out and I get good sleep, and then like Friday I do the same, and I want to go have a few beers Friday, and I know I'm going to wake up Saturday and still work out, dude, I'm so healthy. I have this big bowl of healthy Cheerios. You drop one little shit flake in there, it doesn't fuck up your bowl.
Yeah.
You know, whereas before, if you're not building all that healthy momentum and you're doing bad things, it really fucks with you.
Yes.
So like you can occasionally indulge on these things that are kind of non-healthy, the more healthy you are without it affecting you as much. And so that's like another kind of motivator down the road, because like, dude, I just love ice cream and cake. Like I'm a fat kid at heart. And before, when I wasn't in a good shape, I'd really feel it. Now, dude, I just burn it off. I've increased my metabolism. I've changed my biology. I've added muscle mass and increased, you know, my cardiovascular endurance. Like all those things play into what your metabolism, I guess. You know way more than me. I'm just guessing, but it seems to work that way.
You know, from the professional athlete's perspective.
Sure.
And man, you learn a lot from experience.
Yeah.
Right?
For sure.
You know?
For sure.
Well, this is awesome. I just conned your ass into not getting injured for an hour of your life.
Yeah.
That was absolutely beautiful. I don't think many people could have thought I had to do that.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't have been surprised if you'd have, like, you know, fucking blown out an ACL on this podcast or something, trying something crazy.
I've done a lot of crazy shit.
We made it through. Well, listen, man, this has been an absolute pleasure. You are so natural on the mic. And I think you said some things, not only for our community, but for anybody who is looking to move that meter on their health.
Sure.
You said some really cool stuff to soak up, and you said it in a manner that was really easy to digest.
Thanks.
I mean, some of this stuff is just, God, man, it's straightforward and it empowers people. I mean, some of the ways you said it, I'm just thinking like the average person could hear that and the bulb turn on and say, hey, I got the power to make this small change.
Yeah.
To really start getting in the right direction.
And like we said before, you can't lie to yourself, and positive like affirmation of the reason why you're doing something that might in the moment feel bad, like running, you'll believe yourself. You know what I mean? Like whatever you think about improving yourself and working out, you're right.
Yeah.
So if you think it sucks and that it's like draining, yeah, you're right. But if you think when I'm running, dude, and I got music on, I'm like, I'm adding to my inner demon, my inner beast, whatever, you know, like I envision it as adding to myself, not taking away. I'm not spending energy and it's gone forever. I'm adding to my collective energy and my good feelings. You got to visualize it like that. You have to.
I love it. I think the only way we can end this podcast is with a fucking arrow shot. And with that, we're signing off of High Viz Health. Dustin and DiPaolo here. We appreciate your time, and we'll catch you soon. Damn, this was fun. What do you say we run this back again soon? Click on the icon over here and subscribe to GSI Lifestyle's YouTube channel, or simply click over here and check out the next video in the feed.